For now, let's scroll up to the top and go through each of these subsections. First, now I'm in Excel, so I'm really just going to use my arrow keys. You can also use the mouse and the cursor to click into stuff. And I'll try to explain some of the Excel math behind some of these numbers here. There's a few complicated ones, like down here is a payment function. If you look in the cell, this PMT stuff, that's a little more complicated. I'll get into the details of this in other videos, but for this one, I'm really just focused on the A column, which tells us what the stuff is, and then our definitions. So I'll try to give some quick Excel tips, but I'm not going to get too bogged down in it. For now, look at the top. We have list price, ARV, and max offer price. Basically, three different ways to consider the price of your house. First one, list price, is what is listed for on the MLS, or we could say Zillow or like Redfin or any of those websites. If you don't have a real estate agent, I would highly recommend getting an agent because they can send you lists or a list of houses for sale directly from the MLS. Zillow pulls from the MLS, but it sometimes lags a day or maybe even a week behind, and it doesn't always give you the most accurate information. For instance, like the estimated payments on Zillow sometimes don't take into account the correct taxes, or maybe they're just using like a high or a low interest rate assumption on what your payment would be. And I've seen a lot of times they don't include HOA fees in your estimated payment. So you're looking at like a $300, $400, $500, $600 difference between your real payment and what Zillow's telling you. So if you're really just in sort of like the research stages before you're going to be investing, then Zillow's okay just to get practice and get reps. The most important thing is reps. If you're serious, get an agent or get your license if you really want to do that, and get this stuff directly from the MLS, which is the multiple listing service. So, okay, list price. We're just doing 100,000 here. I'm going to use round numbers to make the math a little bit easy. So we're going to say this house is for sale for $100,000. Next is ARV, which is way more important than the list price, and what you guys need to have in mind when you're looking at properties or making an offer on a property. This is after repair value. That means how much is this house worth once repairs are made? You need sold comparables, not list price comparables to get this number. What does that mean? So list price, if I think my house is worth $100,000, I'm going to list it for that price. But if nobody else thinks it's worth that, maybe it sells for $80,000. That means my after repair value is that $80,000 sold number. What people think it's worth or what the list price is doesn't really mean anything. Today we're in a seller's market, so typically your sales prices are going to be higher than your list prices. In 2009, your ARV or your sales price was going to be lower than the list price. Now, how do we get the ARV and what does that have to do with this other stuff? The after repair value is going to determine our max offer price. So if all the houses in the neighborhood where I'm looking sold for $100,000, then my maximum offer price, the number I'm going to offer to know I'm getting a deal, is going to be this: 70% of my ARV. So an Excel shortcut to look at the cell is F2. When I hit F2, it shows me this. We'll go back. So F2, hit enter. F2, this just means my formula here is that the max offer price equals C8, which is my ARV, multiplied by 0.7 or 70%. And that gives me this $70,000 number. Now, sometimes it's a deal given the list price. We'll figure that out down below. But a good sort of way to operate is if I know that it's worth this and it's in bad condition and I have to do repairs and I pay this for it, then I have $30,000 of wiggle room to make some repairs and make sure that you're not underwater if the market corrects or something like that. So for now, just understand the difference. There's a list price, which is what the buyer wants. There's after repair value, which is basically, again, this can come from a real estate agent. It's similar houses that sold within 3 months or maybe 6 months, and generally like a half mile, maybe a mile away from the property that you're looking at. And then max offer price, what you as an investor want to pay to make sure you're getting what the real estate guys say is that you make the deal on the purchase. You don't make money when you sell the house. You make your money right here because you know it's worth 100 and you're going to pay 70. If you can get it for 60, great. That's an even larger built-in profit. If you can only get it for 95, okay, and the market's overpriced, there's kind of a risk that you're going to be underwater if that market corrects 10, 15, 20%. Another famous investor, Warren Buffett, uses this same idea when he buys stocks. He calls it a margin of safety, which came from Benjamin Graham, who wrote The Intelligent Investor, and he was Warren Buffett's professor when Warren first started to study investments. So always keep this in mind. My max offer price is going to have built into it my margin of safety. If you buy it right, it's really, really hard to lose money, especially over the long term, because you're building in the profit as soon as you pay for it versus hoping that the market, like now, hoping it continues to appreciate 10% a year and you'll get your money back that way. That's kind of a dangerous assumption to make.